dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. What's up? Mic check. Mic check. I need to make sure that I can be heard because I don't think that my audio. Okay, there it is. My audio is a go. Let me make sure. Mic check 1 2 1 2. That sounds about right. That's good. See if it's over here. All right. If you can hear me, put that in the chat. This the one in the chat. If you can hear me, I think I'm good. Okay. Well, welcome to Humble Dad in the Mix for today. I would say just going live to have a conversation with you all. Everybody has a thought about what has just transpired. Now, I'm not claiming to be any local news or anything like that, but I think that it's good for me to, give my perspective on the relevancy of what's going on in the world today, because everybody has a thought, right? As you come in, make sure you hit the like button. Let me know if you cannot hear me. I think it's important for people that have a perspective to state what their perspective is. You don't have to. That's the dope part about the country is that you have the right to speak as well as you have the right to be silent. Excuse me. But as an individual that that enjoys conversation, dialogue, I also want to live in the truth. I want to be able to have information that is applicable to what's going on in my life as well as others, because I don't think I should just care about myself. I think I should care about others as well. And with President Biden not running, how does that impact me? Well, that means somebody else will be stepping up to the plate and coming into his place, and it may not affect me globally at that point in time. However, it may affect somebody else, and my stance is always is protecting the unborn children. And I feel like that's a place for me to be, to speak out for those that can't speak for themselves, right? And the people that cannot speak up for themselves, or the babies that are in the mother's womb, and this country at one point in time said yes to that being okay, and even some states are still in that aspect saying that it's okay. And I would challenge anybody to have that conversation of why it would be okay to do that. To unalive, as they say, for the algorithm, a child that cannot speak for themselves. When the kid is alive, there are advocates for them, and I want to talk about that. I also want to talk to you about if they decide to put Kamala Harris as the face of the Democratic Party, what that would mean. That's their choice, right? But I want to speak to the Christians specifically that lay aside the fact that she's Black and don't look at her policies. Right? I challenge you to look at what she has done prior to her getting into office. I don't know if y'all know this. You can research it. But I remember when she was running against, Joe Biden before he got elected. Before Trump got elected, I want to say. And there was a conversation between, no, it was before Biden got elected, right? It was a conversation when they was debating, and she was calling Biden racist. I don't know if anybody remembers that. She said that he implemented the bus laws that, or tried to go against integration, because and that would have affected her from being in the position of where she was. So she believes that integration helped her get to where she is as a woman of color. Okay, so not only that, she also, on that same stage, I want y'all to hear this. She was challenged by a lady by the name of Tulsi Gabbard, and that lady went on to, when she said what she said, it was not good for her because people seemed to come against her. So I'm gonna let you see this.
Back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General.
Now, my question to you is, will she answer this question? Let's see if she combats what she said, if she says that that's a lie or not.
California. I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Our Democratic Party, unfortunately, is not the party that is of, by, and for the people. It is a party that has been and continues to be influenced by the foreign policy establishment in Washington, represented by Hillary Clinton and others' foreign policy, by the military-industrial complex and other greedy corporate interests.
Senator Harris, any response?
Oh, sure. I think that it's unfortunate that we have someone on the stage who is attempting to be the Democratic nominee for president of the United States, who during the Obama administration spent 4 years full-time on Fox News criticizing President Obama.
That's
who
ridiculous,
has spent full-time criticizing people on this stage as affiliated with the Democratic Party. When Donald Trump was elected, not even sworn in, buddied up to Steve Bannon to get a meeting with Donald Trump in the Trump Tower, fails to call a war criminal by what he is as a war criminal, and then spends full time during the course of this campaign, again, criticizing the Democratic Party. What we need on the stage in November is someone who has the ability to win. And by that, we need someone on that stage who has the ability to go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and someone who has the ability to rebuild the Obama coalition and bring the party and the nation together. I believe I am that candidate.
Thank you, Senator.
Did she answer the question? Did she deny the premise of what Tulsi Gabbard was saying? Notice that she was stated to have did some criminal-like activity, such as withholding information for a person on death row. She did not say that she didn't do that. Notice her body language didn't suggest that she didn't do that, as well as you'll see here later what I have to show you as it relates to Kamala Harris.
Congresswoman Gabbard, I'll give you a chance to
What
respond.
Senator Harris is doing is unfortunately continuing to traffic in lies and smears and innuendos because she cannot challenge the substance of the argument that I'm making, the leadership and the change that I'm seeking to bring in our foreign policy, which only makes me guess that she will, as president, continue the status quo, continue the Bush, Clinton, Trump foreign policy of regime change wars, which is deeply destructive.
All right, so that's what I wanted to show you. That's one element of Kamala Harris. Now, as I said, I think it's major for Christians to look at the entire package of who's coming up for election, re-election, or whatever. But my premise is that you take a look at the laws that protect unborn children. That's what I'm asking for you to look at it. Okay. Not to mention when there's such thing as the Born Alive Act, and it was put in place last year. I want to say it was put in place last year. And so I want you to see what it entails, because I don't want anybody to say that I'm just making this stuff up. This was HR 26, 118th Congress. It's called the Born Alive Survivors Protection Act. Is what it's called. So I'm gonna share my screen so you can see this. Okay. All right, there it is. And it says, let me go to it so you can see what it's about. This bill establishes requirements for the degree of care of care a healthcare practitioner must provide in the case of a child born alive following and, as you can see, and then or an attempted one. Okay, specifically, a healthcare practitioner who is present must exercise the same degree of care as would reasonably be provided to any other child born alive at the same gestational age. And second, ensure the child is immediately admitted to a hospital. Additionally, a healthcare practitioner or other employee who has knowledge of a failure to comply with the degree of care requirements must immediately report such failure to law enforcement. A healthcare practitioner who fails to provide the required degree of care, or healthcare practitioner or other employee who fails to report such failure is subject to what? Criminal penalties, a fine up to 5 years in prison or both. An individual who intentionally attempts to take out a child born alive is subject to prosecution for what? As you can see that word, the bill bars the criminal prosecution of a mother of a child born alive under this bill and allows her to bring a civil action against a healthcare practitioner or employee for violation. So check that out, right? So as you can see, the person, the woman is not going to even face litigation, even though she was in the process of taking out her own kid, right? So as you can see, that's the law that's the bill that was put in place. Okay. And I want you to know that pretty much every Democrat voted against that bill. They voted against the bill that if the child is born alive, that child should still be taken out of this world. Now, I want you to also see, and I went to go see this for myself. that there was, let's see, I'm gonna share my screen again. The people that voted on this. Okay, and I highlighted it for you. That name right there is Kamala Harris. Okay. She was against the bill. And then if you research, she'll tell you that she was against the bill because she felt like it violated women's rights. Well, it's no longer the woman in that case because the baby is now here. And so when the baby is here, it's a human being. It's already, well, I take that back. It's already a human being at conception. But however, they would say, the left would say that it's not a human being until it arrives. That don't make sense, but that's what they say. And so even then they said it's okay to take the baby out. So I'm telling you as Christians, that should be one of the number one things that you pay attention to is what is it like to take care of an unborn child? And should we be on board with them annihilating and taking these babies out? And to the Black community, just so you know, 80% of the clinics are in in the minority neighborhoods. Okay, so please be aware that they're trying to take us out, and it seems like we're okay with it as long as it makes us feel good in the present time. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and let you and give my particular perspective on what's going on. It's unfortunate that, as I was speaking to my wife, it's unfortunate that Biden has to step out under somebody else's guise or guidance instead of being able to say it himself. Because prior to this, he said what? He said, "I'm not leaving. I'm here." Okay. And the next thing I want you to know, okay, this is my conspiracy theory. This is what I believe is going to happen. I believe that they're going to say if Kamala loses, okay, if they nominate her, because I don't know if y'all know this, but Democrats get to decide who they want to run, even if the people say it's somebody else that they like, just so you know that. So I believe that they're going to make it a conspiracy. They're going to make it about race if she loses, and it's just going to divide us even more. But if you go back and check her record, she was not even, California didn't even, she dropped out before she even got to California to even debate. That's how bad she did and how much people did not want her to even be president at the beginning. And what have you seen her do thus far? Not that that's a big deal because we not necessarily see vice presidents, but she didn't start coming out until it was time for election to be up and about. Okay. So I did my research. I pray that you do the same. I showed you one video based on what she said, everything. The other two things, I went to go look at congress.gov. So that's my thoughts. That's my take. Tell me what you think in the comments. Appreciate your time. And until next time, you know what it is. We out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.